All right, welcome back everyone for another deep dive. Today we're going on a journey, into the heart of AI. Specifically, we're going to be exploring those GPT models that, well, everyone's talking about.
Right.
The ones that are composing music,
Yeah, writing poetry.
all that crazy stuff.
Yeah, and we're going to go, beyond just the hype to really understand how these models actually work.
Yeah,
So we have some really fascinating source material for this one, excerpts from a research paper that really gets down into the mechanics of GPT.
it really does feel like magic sometimes, right? Like a machine that can just, write like a human.
Yeah.
But today we're going to unlock that mystery together.
Yeah.
So where do we even begin with something like this?
Well, I think, to really understand it, we need to start by realizing that these GPT models didn't just appear out of thin air. They're actually built on decades of research
Oh, wow.
in artificial intelligence and natural language processing.
So it's not just some like overnight sensation.
No, no, not at all.
There's a real history here.
Absolutely, yeah. And the research paper even mentions, some older models like RNNs and LSTMs.
Right.
These were kind of the predecessors to GPT models, but they had a really big limitation.
Oh,
They
wow.
process language one word at a time.
Really?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
reading a sentence very slowly, word by word.
Oh, that seems pretty inefficient.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why the transformer architecture
Okay,
is such a game changer.
interesting.
Yeah, and it was introduced in a paper aptly titled Attention is All You Need back in 2017.
No. Attention is all you need.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously attention is key here, but what does that even mean in the context of like a language model?
Right. Well, think of it this way. So instead of reading, word by word, the
Mhm.
transformer can actually analyze an entire sentence or even a paragraph all at once,
Oh,
grasping the context and relationships between words much faster and way more effectively.
so it's like seeing the whole picture instead of focusing on like the individual pixels.
That's a great analogy. Yeah. And this parallel processing is what really allows these models to understand the nuances of human language in a way that just wasn't possible before.
Wow, so this transformer architecture sounds pretty revolutionary.
It really is.
But how does it actually work?
So the research paper kind of breaks it down into a few key components.
Okay.
One of the first is embeddings. Imagine each word being transformed into this unique numerical code that captures its meaning and its relationship to other words.
So it's like giving each word a special fingerprint.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And then there's positional encoding, which is basically like giving each word a designated seat in a sentence.
Yeah.
The model needs to understand that word order matters for meaning.
Right, of course. I mean, you can't just like scramble the words in a sentence and expect it to mean the same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now the heart of the transformer is this thing called the attention mechanism. And think of it like a spotlight that shines on the most relevant parts of the text, helping the model understand the true meaning and the nuances there.
So it's like the model is highlighting the important parts as it's reading.
You got it.
Okay.
And it gets even more sophisticated with multi-head attention.
Multi-head.
Yeah, so imagine multiple spotlights shining from different angles,
Whoa.
each capturing different layers of meaning and the relationships within the text.
That's amazing. So it's like having a team of experts analyzing the text, but from different perspectives.
Exactly.
Wow. But I imagine with all this processing going on, it must require a lot of computing power, right?
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And that kind of brings us to another crucial aspect, the feed-forward network.
Okay.
So after the attention mechanism has done its job, the information still needs to be processed and refined, right?
Right. So is it like the brain making sense of all the information it's just received?
Exactly. Yeah, so this feed-forward network helps the model synthesize the information from the attention mechanism and really extract the key insights.
Okay, so we've got these amazing transformers, but how do they actually learn language in the first place? That's where things get really interesting, right?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. The learning process is where these models really shine, and it's this thing called pre-training.
Pre-training.
And it's like, imagine immersing a young mind in this vast library full of books, articles, even code.
So they're basically absorbing all this information and learning the patterns of human language.
Precisely. And the research paper really emphasizes the scale of this learning process.
Okay.
We're talking gigantic data sets, massive amounts of text and code that these models are trained on.
It's like a digital brain soak, but on a colossal scale.
Yeah.
But how do they make sense of all that information? It must be more than just memorizing words.
You're absolutely right. It's about understanding the relationships between the words,
Yeah.
the nuances of grammar, even different writing styles.
Oh.
And this is where things get a bit technical. The paper mentions autoregressive language modeling.
Autoregressive language modeling.
Ugh.
Okay, I'm going to need a little bit of help with that one.
All right, so imagine the model is playing a guessing game.
Okay.
It's given a sequence of words, and it has to predict what the next word will be.
Okay.
And the better it gets at predicting, the more it understands the underlying structure of the language.
So it's constantly practicing and refining its understanding.
Exactly. And during this process, it's using something called a loss function.
A loss function.
Yeah, it's like a scorecard that tells the model how well it's doing. The lower the score, the better it understands the language.
It's amazing how these models can just learn from their mistakes and improve over time.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
It is. And after all this pre-training,
Right.
the model has this solid foundation in language. But what if you want it to do something specific? Like write a sonnet,
Yeah.
compose a piece of music, or even generate code.
Yeah, that's where things get really exciting. It's like taking all that general knowledge
Right.
and applying it to a specific task.
Yeah, so you're basically tailoring the model's abilities to suit a particular need.
Exactly. And the beauty of this is you don't have to start from scratch. You're leveraging all that knowledge that the model has already acquired during pre-training.
So it's a much more efficient process.
Absolutely. It requires less data and less computational power compared to training a model from scratch. Now, we've talked a lot about the benefits of these large language models, but there are also some challenges that come with scaling them up.
Right. I can imagine that training these massive models must require a lot of resources.
Oh, yeah, you're absolutely right. And the research paper really highlights this, the computational demands of training these models. So we're talking about specialized hardware like GPUs and TPUs,
Okay.
which are essentially these super-powered computer chips designed for processing complex data.
It's like building a rocket ship. You
Yeah.
need the right tools for the job.
Exactly.
Yeah. But what about the energy consumption?
Oh, that's a great point.
Yeah. Is there a sustainability concern with these large models?
It's definitely something that the AI community is very actively addressing. As these models get bigger and more powerful, the energy required to train them also increases. But, researchers are exploring ways to make the training process more efficient and environmentally friendly.
That's good to know that sustainability is a priority.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But besides computational power, what other challenges are there?
Well, handling the sheer amount of data that these models process is another hurdle.
Oh, right.
It's like trying to manage a library with billions of books.
Whoa.
And so the research paper mentions this technique called model parallelism.
Okay, break that down for me.
All right, so imagine splitting the model across multiple devices,
Okay.
like having a team of librarians, each responsible for a section of the library. This helps distribute the workload and makes the whole process much more manageable.
That's clever. So you've got the computational muscle, the memory management all figured out. But what about speed? I imagine these large models can be a bit slow to respond.
That's a valid concern, especially for real-time applications like chatbots,
Right.
where you need those quick responses. That's where techniques like model compression and quantization come in.
Okay. Sounds intriguing. What do those involve?
Okay, so think of it like optimizing a race car, right? You want to make it as lean and efficient as possible without compromising on its performance. So model compression and quantization are like fine-tuning the model's engine, making it faster and more responsive.
So you're making it more agile
Yeah.
without sacrificing its power.
Exactly. It's all about finding that sweet spot between performance and efficiency. Now, we've been focusing on the technical aspects, but it's crucial to remember that these models are ultimately tools
Right.
created by humans.
Right.
And with any powerful tool, there's a responsibility to use it ethically and thoughtfully.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
mean, we can't just focus on the technical advancements without considering the broader societal implications.
You're exactly right. And that's something that we'll delve into further as we continue our exploration into the world of GPT models.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Welcome back to our deep dive into GPT models.
Yeah.
Last time we talked about how these models learn, during that pre-training phase.
Right. Absorbing all that information, all those patterns of human language.
Exactly. But, it's one thing to have all that knowledge just swimming around in there, but it's another thing entirely to actually put to use. you know?
You're exactly right. And that's where these real-world applications come in. The research paper mentions, APIs and cloud services
Okay.
that make this technology accessible to developers.
So basically, this technology is not just stuck in research labs anymore.
Yeah, it's really fascinating to see how quickly this is happening. Developers can now integrate these really powerful capabilities into their apps and services.
Hmm.
Yeah, and it's opening up a world of possibilities, really, for businesses and for individuals.
I mean, the possibilities seem endless. I can imagine like small businesses using these GPT-powered tools to create marketing materials that could rival like
Mhm.
good agencies.
Absolutely. And think about, customer service.
Oh, yeah.
GPT-powered chatbots could provide 24/7 support, understanding and responding to queries in a natural and helpful way.
That would be amazing. That would really free up human agents to focus on, the more complex issues. It seems like these GPT models could really transform the way we work and interact with technology.
I think they certainly have that potential, but it's not just about efficiency and automation.
Okay.
The research paper also highlights this potential impact on the job market.
Right. Okay. So are we talking about like robots taking over?
Not necessarily. While some tasks, may become automated,
Right.
new opportunities will emerge in areas like AI development, data
Okay.
analysis, and, ethical oversight of these systems.
So it's more of a shift than a complete takeover.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like, the transition from horse-drawn carriages to automobiles.
Right.
Jobs changed, new industries arose, and society adapted.
That's a helpful way to think about it. And it's not just the job market that's being impacted, right? I mean, the research paper mentions how GPT models could really revolutionize fields like media and education.
Oh, absolutely.
Eh,
Imagine personalized learning experiences tailored to each student's unique needs and learning style.
wow.
GPT-powered tools could provide customized feedback and guidance,
Oh, that's amazing.
helping students learn more effectively.
And what about media?
Oh, think about news articles that are automatically summarized,
Okay.
translated into multiple languages,
Wow.
and even fact-checked, all in real time.
That would be incredible.
Yeah, GPT models could really make information more accessible and empower readers with accurate and diverse perspectives.
It's incredible to think about the positive impact this technology could have on society.
Yeah.
But with such transformative potential, I mean, there are bound to be, challenges and ethical considerations.
Absolutely. And the research paper really emphasizes the need for clear regulatory frameworks
Great.
to guide the development and deployment of these models.
So we need to establish some ground rules.
Yeah, we need to protect our privacy, prevent misuse, and really ensure responsible use of this incredibly powerful technology.
It's like, establishing safety protocols.
Yeah.
But for a new type of energy source,
Exactly.
we need to harness the power while mitigating the potential risks.
Precisely. And this isn't just the responsibility of, governments or tech companies.
Right.
It's a conversation that we all need to be a part of.
Absolutely.
We need to think critically about the potential impact of these models on society and really work together to shape their future.
I think that's a great point. All right, welcome back to the show. We've spent the last couple segments really digging into the nuts and bolts of how these GPT models work.
Yeah, from that revolutionary transformer architecture to the massive scale of pre-training and even touched on some of the challenges.
Right, like the
Yeah.
computational demands
Right.
and, figuring out how to efficiently manage memory.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm really curious now to explore how all this translates into real-world applications.
Me too. And the research paper kind of hints at this, like GPT models moving beyond just research labs and into, our everyday lives.
Right.
It mentions like APIs and cloud services,
Oh, yeah.
like making this technology accessible to developers.
Yeah, and it's fascinating to see how quickly this is happening. Developers can now integrate these really powerful capabilities into their apps and services.
Wow.
And it's really opening up a whole world of possibilities.
Yeah, like for businesses and even for individuals.
Right.
I mean, the possibilities they seem endless at this point.
Yeah.
You can imagine like small businesses using these GPT-powered tools to create marketing materials that, rival big agencies.
Absolutely. And think about customer service. Oh, yeah. GPT-powered chatbots could provide 204/7 support, understanding, and responding to queries in a natural and helpful way.
That would be amazing. That would really free up, human agents to focus on, like, the more complex issues.
Exactly. Exactly.
It really seems like these GPT models could completely transform the way we work and interact with technology.
They certainly have that potential. But it's not just about, efficiency and automation.
Right.
The research paper also kind of highlights this potential impact on the job market.
Okay, so are we talking about, like, robots taking over?
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
While some tasks, may become automated, new opportunities will also emerge in areas like AI development, data analysis, ethical oversight of these systems.
So it's more of a shift than a complete takeover.
Exactly, yeah. It's like, the transition from horse-drawn carriages to automobiles, right?
Right, right.
Jobs changed, new industries arose, and society adapted.
Yeah, that's a helpful way to think about it. And it's not just the job market that's being impacted.
Yeah,
Right.
not at all.
The research paper mentions how these GPT models could, revolutionize fields like media and education.
Absolutely.
Imagine, like, personalized learning experiences
Yeah.
tailored to each student's, unique needs and learning style.
Absolutely. GPT-powered tools could provide, like, customized feedback, guidance,
Wow.
helping students learn more effectively.
That's amazing. And what about media? Like, how would it impact that?
Think about news articles that are automatically summarized,
Okay.
translated into multiple languages,
Bro.
even fact-checked, all in real time.
That would be incredible.
Yeah, GPT models could really make information more accessible
Yeah.
and empower readers with accurate and diverse perspectives.
It's incredible to think about the positive impact this technology could have on society.
Yeah.
But, I mean, with such transformative potential, there are bound to be challenges and ethical considerations.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And the research paper really emphasizes the need for, clear regulatory frameworks
Okay.
to guide the development and deployment of these models.
So we need to, like, establish some ground rules.
Yeah, we need to protect privacy,
Right.
prevent misuse,
Yeah.
ensure responsible use of this incredibly powerful technology.
It's like, establishing safety protocols, but
Yeah.
for, like, a new type of energy source, right?
Exactly, yeah. You need to harness the power while mitigating the potential risks.
Exactly.
And this isn't just the responsibility of, governments or tech companies.
Right.
This is a conversation that we all need to be a part of.
Absolutely.
We need to think critically about the potential impact of these models on society
Yeah.
and really work together to shape their future.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into GPT models, what are some of the key takeaways you hope, our listeners will walk away with?
Well, firstly, GPT models, they're more than just a cool technological innovation. They represent a paradigm shift in how we interact with language and information.
Wow.
Secondly, while the potential benefits are vast, we need to approach this technology with both enthusiasm and caution, right?
Right.
It's crucial to find that right balance between innovation and responsible development.
Yeah, I think that's a great point.
And finally, this is an ongoing journey. The field of AI is constantly evolving,
Right.
and it's up to all of us to engage in thoughtful conversations
Yeah.
and really guide the development of these powerful tools in a direction that benefits humanity as a whole.
Well said. I think that's a great note to end on. We've covered a lot of ground today, from the technical intricacies of these models to their real-world implications and the ethical considerations they raise.
Yeah, it's been a fascinating deep dive, and I hope, our listeners feel empowered to continue exploring this evolving landscape of AI.
Me too. Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of GPT models. We'll see you next time for another fascinating exploration.